Our next speaker is someone I'm particularly excited to hear from, Dr. Nozer Sheriar, on why I perform abortions. Dr. Sheriar is a consulting obstetrician, gynecologist, and gynecological endoscopist. He is the Secretary General of the Federation of Obstetric and Gynecological Societies of India and a board member of IPAS. Please welcome Dr. Sheriar.
Thank you, Michelle. When pregnancies are unwanted, safe abortions are vital to women's health and well-being. While unsafe abortions remain one of the prime causes of maternal death and disability, safe abortions is one of the safest procedures that we perform in medical practice today. I perform abortions because I believe that this is something that all doctors who care for women should be doing to protect their health and well-being. But besides this clinical approach to abortion, I believe that an unconditional support of a woman's decision to have an abortion is a statement acknowledging and supporting this most difficult reproductive right that society has been and remains so reluctant to give women. I perform abortions because I am pro-life and I am pro-choice. I am pro a woman's life to protect her body and her being from the disruptive consequences, risks, and dangers of an unwanted pregnancy. I am pro a woman's choice for her to decide what she wishes to do with her mind, her body, and her life. Today I wish to share the stories of three remarkable women that I have been privileged to look after in my practice. It is many women like them who give meaning and justification to my being a gynecologist, an obstetrician, and an abortion provider. The first was a daughter of close friends of mine. These friends are both doctors, devoutly Catholic, and completely anti-choice. Their daughter came to me without their knowledge, on her own, with 2 children at home, and no possibility or hope of understanding from her husband or her family. It was a difficult decision for her, given a lifetime of religious belief. And yet she told me that she had thought long and hard and decided that abortion was her only choice. It saddened me to see that she felt so alone and that this decision was tearing her apart. I was touched and humbled by her quiet strength and her trust and confidence in me. As I performed her abortion, I thought of my own daughter. I hoped that if she ever found herself in a similarly distressing situation, that I could be there for her without condition or judgment. And if for some reason I could not be there for her, I prayed that she would find a doctor who would be her confidant, her support, and her protector. The second was a corporate lawyer, and she was going through a challenging divorce. She was distraught at finding that emergency contraception had failed her. In a shameful double standard, it would have been a legal setback if it became known to her husband and opposing counsel that she was pregnant. Courts are known to have double standards when it comes to men and women. While it was impossible to prove the husband's infidelity, her being pregnant could have been used to tarnish her image and weaken her case. She requested confidentiality and help from me to terminate her pregnancy. By helping her perform the abortion, I was privileged to stand by a brave woman who was preparing to face the world on her own terms as a single mother with a daughter. I was privileged to be the person that she turned to for help and support. The third was an uneducated housemaid. She had 2 children and a failed sterilization. Her husband was uncaring and unsupportive and prone to drinking and physical abuse. She worked hard to put her children through school to achieve a life that she could never have. She knew that a larger family to provide for would have impacted her 2 children's future. She was desperate and abortion was her only option. Since then, she has continued to exercise her reproductive freedom confidentially by being on a long-acting injectable contraceptive. Today, as I see her older daughter as an undergraduate college student, I realize the wisdom of this uneducated mother's selfless choice made back then. While these stories seem so different, they are really but one and the same. Women wanting to exercise their right to make their choices about their bodies, their fertility, their families, and their future. Despite their very different circumstances, it was unfortunate but commendable that each one from a completely different background faced up to this challenge on her own and made her decision with great responsibility. I salute these women. What they did was difficult and courageous and honest. There can be no doubt that for them it was the right thing to do. For me, it was an opportunity to fulfill my sworn physician's responsibility, my oath to care and comfort, help and relieve. An estimated 70,000 young women die each year because of unsafe abortion. This is more than those who die as a result of most natural calamities. And this silent tsunami reaches doorsteps day after day, year after year, claiming the lives of young women, daughters, sisters, wives, and mothers. Safe abortion can save almost all these lives. So where is the controversy, moral, ethical, political, or religious, in the provision of a life-saving, health-protecting technology or option? I place before you an interesting scenario. If all the women who had an induced abortion in just the last 10 years came together to live in one country, their united sisterhood would have a population of 500 million. This country would be the third most populous country in the world behind China and India, ahead of the United States of America by almost 110 million. How then do people and societies dare judge, stigmatize, and condemn these women and what they choose to do? With these numbers, it should be obvious that abortions should remain commonplace, safe, and easily available. The women who come to me for an abortion do so with great thought and responsibility. Even so, they tend to look to others, often their caregivers, to support and validate their decision. I tell each and every one of them that there is no way that something that 44 million women choose to do each year ever be immoral or wrong. Somehow I find this reasoning works for them. As a doctor and someone who does abortions, I know that it always works for me. Thank you.